Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us. This is an informational session for the Career and College Readiness Graduate legislation. And so we're going to get right into it. So what is CCRG? It is essentially a response to state legislation. And the idea of it was to reduce the number of, or rather reduce the need for students to have to take remediation courses if they decided to go to a community college, or rather a North Carolina community college. Whenever they decide to go to a North Carolina community college, they have been finding that students have been needing to take remediation courses before they can actually get started with their actual degree work. And there are many colleges and universities, even four-year colleges and universities in and out of the state, that require students to take remediation courses if they do not do well on the placement test that the schools offer. And so in response to that need, the NCCCS worked with the state, and the state developed a legislation which requires students to be more prepared and what they consider career and college ready. So even if you're not planning to go to a four-year college, you still plan to work, because you can't do nothing at all. You have to do something. And so in working, whether you're working straight from, going straight from high school to employment, whether you're working for the military, whether you go to school, go to college, and then go into the workforce, either way, you need to be ready. And so being career and college ready, this is ideally an answer to reduce that need for the remediation courses, so that you can actually get started on your degree or certificate, whatever you're planning to do, or even once you get directly into the workforce, that you have the necessary skills. And so in doing that, there's an independent math course, and that independent math course will be considered a part of the 4 math graduation requirements. So you have to have 4 credits of math to graduate from high school. So it does count. The standalone CCRG math course does count as meeting those graduation requirements. However, it does not count as a 4th level math. So if your intention is to go to a 4-year college or university, whether it's in-state or out-of-state, but particularly for within the UNC system school, a 4th level math, this independent CCRG math course does not count towards that. The English version of CCRG modules, that is integrated into the English 4 curriculum. So there are students who are scheduled to take English for spring semester. Those students, you'll get it in that English 4 curriculum, but not as a standalone course. So when and who does CCRG affect? So when does it start? It starts during the 2nd semester. And with the pandemic, it kind of got delayed, but it's going to start January 2021 when the 2nd semester starts. So that means that there'll be some changes to some schedules. And not changes that you're going to lose a class or anything like that, but that you'll see the CCRG course show up on your schedule. What happens if a student does not pass the CCRG course or content? You will still graduate. So the modules are set up in tiers, and so you have to pass one tier to get to the next tier, and it allows you to, and please chime in, Mrs. Bierman, to make sure that I'm communicating this correctly. You pass one tier, then you get to the next tier. If you do not make it through all the tiers, or if you do not pass the tiers, what will happen is once you get to the community college, you will still have to take those remediation courses. Correct, Ms. Bierman?
That's what I got out of it.
Okay. Who does it affect? So all students with an unweighted GPA of 2.2 to 2.799 at the end of your junior year, they have to take that CCRG course in content. So that means right now your current transcript shows the end of your junior year. That's the GPA that you currently have. And so that's what was used to let you know that you've been identified. So if your GPA falls within that range, that's why you are required to take the course in content. There are some exemptions. So our occupational course of study students are exempted from CCRG. Students who are eligible for the CCP college transfer pathway, as well as anyone who has attained the scores that are shown on the screen for the SAT or ACT or Math 3 EOC. We went through to make sure that no one met that criteria. However, we are human. So if you find that there was a mistake or that you achieved one of these scores, please let us know so that we can double check. But those are the exemption criteria. There's also, if you took an AP exam and you scored a 3 or higher, then that also exempts you. If you score 3 or higher on any of these exams that are showing here. We don't have the IB program or the Cambridge International exams, so those don't apply. But as far as advanced placement, those are the applications if you to make you exempt. So how will it work? Like I said before, the English modules are not a standalone course. They will be integrated into the English 4 curriculum. Those of you who have been identified to take the English modules, your English teacher for next semester has been notified. They are aware. Those of you who have been identified to take the math modules are a standalone course. So when do you actually get to complete it if you have a full schedule or if you don't have a full schedule? You can complete it during your asynchronous times of your class. So if you're scheduled to do the English modules during your asynchronous times, you can work on your English modules. Same thing for math. There will be monitoring. You will have, besides your actual English or math teacher, Mr. Hammer will also be monitoring your completion and giving gentle nudges if you need those. The modules, or rather the courses, have been placed into your second semester schedules. So it will show up as, it'll show, the math course will show like an actual name. It may say Mr. Hammer next to it as well. It's not, you have to go to another class or anything like that. It's just going to show up. If you have 3 classes scheduled for next semester, then it'll show up as a 4th class. If you have 4 classes showing next semester, then it will show up as a 5th class. But you need to complete it on your own time or during the asynchronous times, and make sure that you complete them prior to graduation. Did I leave out anything? No?
You guys have any questions about how this is going to work or anything?
Okay. So now it's questions time. So feel free to come off of mute and we will be more than happy to answer your questions. Nothing.
So I'm gathering they 100% understand everything and get what they have to do next semester. Is that correct, guys?
You can check the yes or no.
Thumbs up,
Thumbs up.
something.
Give me something.
Yeah.
We might
got
even
it, Simeon?
accept that. I don't know.
Okay. Christian says yes. Simeon, you good?
I see you're just gonna show up as a 4th class because I only had 3 next semester.
Okay. And there
Ms.
are some
Breaker,
students. Oh, I'm sorry.
do you know what period it's going to be assigned? Is it going to be something that's not an actual period, like, I don't know, 8 or something?
Yes, good question. It's going to be period 6. It'll show up as period 6. Thank you for asking that. And there are some students who have to do both modules. And so you will see that, you will see both if you need to do both. Letters have been mailed home to tell you exactly which ones that you have to complete. So just be a little patient. You know, it's the post office. No shade to the post office, but it's snail mail, so it's going to take a little longer. But you should definitely get it long before second semester starts. So it will tell you exactly which modules you need to complete.
But basically, we're not worrying about anybody that falls within the GPA range that had a fourth level math, well, a math or English for first semester. Since we're starting second semester, those folks kind of got out of it. And there's a few people who were in both English 4 and the math second semester who will have to do both. But I feel like, wouldn't you say, Ms. Breaker, the vast majority of them only need to do one or the other?
Yes, most of you only need to do one or the other. There are very few who need to do both. Any other questions? All right, well, if there are no other questions, I'm going to stop the recording.